So I was originally planning on filming some content like in the evening, but I have a little bit of time to kill. I am now coming to you from New York, where it's freezing. But that's not what we're here to crash out about. My first topic, which once these are all posted, are definitely going to be a little bit behind, but today is Friday, March 27th. And when I first came up with the format of the podcast, and what I finally wanted to do, um, at that time, the biggest news story, and let me be very clear about news that I ingest. As an eldest daughter, as a type A personality, and also as a empath, I'm very intentional about what I'm ingesting news-wise as far as world news is concerned. So I know enough to keep myself safe, keep my family safe, make smart decisions, and I'm very intentional about what I am Googling, what I'm looking up, because as everybody knows, whatever you start Googling is what you're going to have in just your whole feed on every social media site. It's just going to be nothing. You're going to be inundated. Like, I just got a new phone. So I've been looking at different cases and different accessories and things. My entire newsfeed right now is nothing but phone cases, like inundated. So they're always listening. So my news sources are entertainment news. My Google cards, they're telling me about four things: the New England Patriots, go Pats; Taylor Swift; student loan forgiveness; and weather. So, yeah. But if you know, Taylor Frankie Paul is from the show The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Now, if you're not familiar with that show, it's on Hulu. It is on season 4 currently. Taylor Frankie Paul is the quote unquote creator of Mom Talk. The show came to be because there was a huge scandal with her and some of her friends. These are young, mid 20s, early 30s Mormon couples. And there was a swinging scandal. So that's how the fame began, right? I've always been obsessed with all aspects of Mormon culture for a really long time. So say less. Say Utah, I'm watching. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, check. Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, check. Escaping Polygamy, check. I'm watching it all. It's fascinating. The Mormon religion is fascinating from someone who didn't grow up in the religion. So Taylor Frankie Paul in the last, I think it's been a week. It seems a lot longer than that, but it's been a week. Was picked to be the next Bachelorette. Her entire season was recorded and was set to air last Sunday, the 22nd, and last Friday, this video, I'm really showing my age by saying tape, but this video that had been recorded in 2023 from her partner was leaked to TMZ. And we're not crashing out about Taylor Frankie Paul. We're not crashing out about any of this. long-winded point is that when all of this is happening, all of these news stories are breaking and the Bachelorette's being canceled and all of this, I started seeing the term reactionary abuse being thrown out. And I'm like, I've never heard this term before. So I started doing some digging. There's on the video, there's, and I haven't watched it. So this is just going off of what I'm reading, people commenting, is where her ex is recording her as she's having this episode. She's throwing furniture at him. And, I don't know the ins and outs of everything that happened that night. I wasn't there. But when I started doing like a deeper dive into the term reactionary abuse, it absolutely hit home for me. I am a survivor of abusive relationships, multiple abusive relationships. And there is a point when you're in an emotionally abusive relationship that you get broken down in a way that you break. And the main reason why I haven't watched the video, and again, I was not there. I do not know what happened before this video started being recorded. Is that I was reading that there was a lot of her ex in the video saying, look at you, look how you're acting, look at how you're acting. And it immediately triggered something in me because I have been there. I know exactly what it is like to have someone just break your entire soul to the point that when you snap and you lash out like that, it's like an out of body experience. And it's happened to me at multiple points. And it really we need to start talking about the uncomfortable part of this because the amount of abuse that has to take place before that reaction happens, it's not a day. It's not a week. It's day in, day out, week after week after month after year of just being completely degraded to the point that you cannot even believe how you've acted when you lash out like that, because I mean, like, truly, you black out. And what I'm seeing is two really varying sides of this coin. You've got people that are saying this is stereotypical reactionary abuse, and people saying absolutely not. There's no excuse for her to act like that. And I want full disclosure here. At no point am I saying, well, because I was emotionally, physically abused, it's okay that I'm having this reactionary abuse. None of it is okay. Not any part of it is okay. But at what point do we start holding the abuser accountable? Why is it only on the action of the individual who was being abused consistently that they have to be held accountable for their actions? Because I've had a similar situation. And also, like, what type of therapy does one have to go through to be able to break out of that cycle, right? Especially like by the grace of the universe, I don't have to have any contact with my exes. I don't have children, period. So I I don't like the relationship is over with. That's it. We're done. Once I sold my house, I was done. But at what point in therapy can you get to this place where you do not have that reaction anymore? Because I have to be honest with you, talk therapy is great. I've been in therapy I feel like my entire life. My mom is a therapist, so yeah, a lot of therapy. But like talk therapy only goes so far. And it also only goes so far if you're actually using and utilizing these tools that your therapist is giving you, right? I kind of ebb and flow in my therapy. So I'll go through a period where I'm heavily into therapy. And then I get to this point where I'm just kind of like, it's more of a frustration for me than I find that it's actually like being helpful. And then I'll stop going to therapy. And then like something will happen where I'm feeling like, okay, I need to get back into therapy, which is where I'm at right now. Then you have to go through this whole entire process of like going through all of your micro trauma, all your micro grief to like get your entire history if you're not going back to your same therapist, which my dumbass never does. And mostly because I don't think I've found the right therapist yet. And then like you're reigniting these like micro moments, which is like then sending your body into this fight or flight mode, which is very consistent when you are you know, a, a domestic violence survivor. When you have to talk about these incidences, which are paramount to be able to get anything from therapy, like you can't leave anything out. You can't pick and choose what you want to include in your therapy, which is like definitely part of why I think my last stint of therapy was not as successful as I would have liked it to be, is because I wasn't being honest with myself about what was going on. So, like, I'm not going to be able to be honest with my therapist. But, like, do we think reactionary abuse is an actual thing? Is this like just like the catch term of the month? Because I'm trying to understand how I have had the misfortune of being in two different emotionally slash physically abusive relationships, experienced what, to the best of my research knowledge, reactionary abuse on multiple occasions, and no one has ever used this term. I've never heard this term before in my entire life. And now suddenly it's the buzzword of the week. It's absolutely wild. So I think this particular crash out is going to be a little bit shorter than normal. Really trying to work towards like a 30-minute maximum format. But right now, where I'm at with this reactionary abuse knowledge is like, I have to figure out a way, and it's much better than it. I haven't had a reactionary episode in quite some time, but like, at what point are we holding, like, it can't just be on me? And I don't want to make this like it's like a male versus female thing, but like statistically, females are more likely to be abused by their partners than males are. It's not as though it doesn't happen the other way around. Obviously it does. I don't live under a rock. But at what point are we fucking holding men responsible for anything? Because it really, honestly, on March 27th, 2026, seems like we're not holding them responsible for anything. Like nothing. And why are we as women not literally burning everything down to the fucking ground? Like, how are we getting up every single day, going to our jobs where we make less than our male counterparts? We are in charge of everything, expected to do the work of 6 or 7 people, and then also have to be accountable for everything. All of the actions lay solely on our shoulders. Like, that's the crash out, is like, okay, so there's reactionary abuse, right? So you have a female statistically more likely to be the victim in a domestic violence, emotional abuse situation. And these are just statistics. Like, men lie, women lie, numbers do not lie. And something in her snaps. You have reactionary abuse. And in the general consensus, she's held accountable more than the person that's been abusing her for God knows how long. That's the crash out. Let me know what you think. Till next time.